Alright, hello everyone, I'm back. Welcome back to Ask the King episode 53. This is part 2 of hopefully 3. I hope to finish in time. And we got lots more questions to go through. If you have not watched part 1 as of yet, please check it out. It's a separate video here on the King of Hate vlogs on YouTube. This is part 2, so here we go. Okay. Next question. From HNS9975. The following question. Phil, do you still have all of your videos saved somewhere that were removed from Blip TV? I was wondering because it would be amazing if you could do a best and worst of TV superstars, which in my opinion was your funniest playthrough ever. You know, I get questions like this from time to time, and I get confused. I'll be honest, I get freaking confused, and here's why I get confused. There was a period of time, this was late 2010 into early 2011, alright? I've been laid off from my job, which we already talked about previously on this show. And I was trying to make it work. I was trying to make YouTube into my job. For 2 months, I tried to do it where my gaming stuff was completely free of any kind of advertisement revenue. Or I was just doing gaming videos and just playing whatever I could. And most people were watching that, but then people would go watch my vlogging content. And my vlogging channel, because it didn't have gaming footage in it, I was able to monetize those videos, and people would actually watch the videos, click the ads, do all kinds of stuff, and I would make money based off of that, okay? I did that for about 2 months, and YouTube said, oh, too many people clicked your ads, we think there's fraud, so we're kicking you out of the program. To which is ridiculous, because you can't prove anything. I never committed fraud. I never told anyone to click anything, although I alluded to it. I never blatantly broke any rules. And so basically they kicked me out just because they could, alright? So then I said I need to do something different, and for 1 month, it was the month of December 2010, and it was like half of January 2011. I think it might have been all of January 2011. I moved my new gameplay stuff, excuse me, from YouTube. I stopped posting it up right away on YouTube, and instead I was putting up on a website called Blip TV. Now, Blip TV, in a lot of ways, was cool, and in a lot of ways was bad. It was cool because the staff of Blip TV would respond to you almost instantly. If you had an issue, if you needed help, you needed an explanation, or anything, they would help you right away, okay? Blip TV's monetization options were great. I could put ads on my gameplay videos, which I couldn't do on YouTube, and basically I was making money doing gameplay on Twitch, on Blip TV, which was great. The flip side of this is that Blip TV, unfortunately, was a much smaller website than YouTube, alright? To actually bring viewership from YouTube to a much smaller place is incredibly difficult, and I know because many people have tried to do it before, and pretty much everyone has failed. And I mean that. People like that guy with the glasses, who all his content was on YouTube, and then he got flagged a million times for copyright. He went to Blip TV, and although he's successful, was way less successful than he was on YouTube. Same thing with the Angry Video Game Nerd. He's had his videos on other websites, and they're successful, but whenever he posts something on YouTube, he gets millions upon millions upon millions of views instantly, versus it takes a long time for the viewership to build up on another website. So, that's the thing. YouTube is the to-go place for on-demand video. So I was at this place for about a month and a half, and then, unfortunately, after a month and a half, it all fell through because of all kinds of bullshit with people trolling me, and basically flagging me and saying that I was a racist and all kinds of stupid shit. And this is the other problem with Blip TV, is that they were run by a very small staff. It wasn't like YouTube where they have a big staff and they talk about these issues and they appeal or anything. Basically, it was a very small staff, and someone showed someone and said, oh, people are offended by Phil's content. Oh, well, just get rid of them. And that was it. There was no appeal process. There wasn't even a discussion with me. It was just like, goodbye. And I'm sorry, but that's incredibly unprofessional. That's not the way to run your business. And that's why here we are in 2015, and who the fuck knows what Blip TV is, or who the fuck does anything on Blip TV? Let's face it. Does anyone know? Does anyone watch Blip TV anymore? Has anyone heard about anything from Blip TV in the past 10, I'd say since I left there, right? 2012 to 2015. What the fuck is on Blip TV? That website had so much potential to be a competitor with YouTube, but because they were so unprofessional with the way they ran their website, and they did shit like that, weren't willing to work with anyone, no one uses it. So, they basically fucked their entire system up. They really did. They fucked their whole business, and the business at this point, no one even gives a shit anymore about them. So anyway, I digress. There was content that I made on Blip TV, excuse me, and the content that I made on Blip TV was there and was deleted. They said, we're getting rid of your content. We're deleting all your content. Fine, do whatever the fuck you want, you stupid assholes. And they were like, oh, we're gonna delete it, so warning, you know, you better back it up. I'm like I don't have my own shit backed up. You know what I mean? It was so stupid. The whole thing was so dumb. Okay, and so here we are, right, in 2015, and people to this day still say, well, Phil, you know, what happened to the playthroughs you did on Blip? I'd love to watch them, and can I watch them? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because the bottom line is most of the stuff that I did upload to Blip TV, I then later uploaded to YouTube at a later date. So, to answer directly HNS's question, TV Superstars was a playthrough that I actually did when the PS Move launched in 2010. John Rambo and I did a funny co-op playthrough of it. It was one of the stupidest games we ever played, but it was hilarious to watch. And we did the PS Move shit, picture-in-picture. We had our camera on us while we did it. This was before I did direct capture, so we had multiple digital cameras set up and shit. And it was great. And it's on YouTube. Right now, if you want to know how to find it, go to thekingofhate.com, go on the playlist tab, and type in the search, TV Superstars, comes up right away. And I think the problem, the reason that people can't find anything of mine that, like, Phil played this Spider-Man game, but I can't find it on YouTube. Don't use YouTube. And I'm serious. Don't you ever use YouTube to search for my content. I've said this before and I'll say it again. YouTube's search engine is a fucking piece of shit. Alright? It really is. It's a piece of shit. You won't find anything. You will not find anything on YouTube searching for it. You'll find junk. You'll find off content. You'll find all the shit they promote, right? You'll find the top YouTubers doing shit, and you'll never find anything you're looking for. If you're looking for my content, go to thekingofhate.com, go to the playlist tab, go to the search bar, and type in the name of the game or whatever you're looking for. It will come up, and you'll find it. TV Superstars has been live since then, but people can't find it because YouTube's a piece of shit. Okay? Now, incidentally, the reason I chose this question is because, ladies and gentlemen, for the month of June, the patrons voted, all the May patrons voted. Guess what they voted for my next best and worst montage series? TV Superstars. So yes, in July, it's probably going to be around mid to late July, I'm going to do a 1 to 2 part montage series where I highlight the funniest and best parts of John Rambo and my TV Superstars cooperative playthrough. That's going to be the DSP Classics series for the month of July. So, very pertinent that we bring it up now. It is coming in the next few weeks by the end of July. Okay? Very nice. Okay. Next question is from Gunnerman1400. Gunnerman says the following. Here's another thing that's hilarious. Hey Phil, I was watching your playthrough of Make My Video Crisscross from several years ago, and judging from the videos, you don't sound that fond of their music. My question is, were there any other music artists in the 90s or 2000s that you disliked? If so, what was it that you disliked about them? Was it their voice, their songs, their personality, or was it the fact that they had no reason to be making music? Thank you. Here, basically, ladies and gents, music and my music tastes, alright? I am a fan of people who do things because they're genuine, because they have a love for it, because they have a passion, they have a message to portray. And I know it's foolish because in this day and age, 99% of the people who do things do it because it's this, right? Because it makes them money or fame or whatever it is. Whatever it is that gives them their jollies, that's why they do it, right? That's not why I do YouTube. I do YouTube because I love sharing my experiences with others. In my core, I am a gamer who wants to experience the best and worst games, so I can tell you about them, and I love having this interactive experience with the people of the world that I have because I have a YouTube presence, right? I do it because I love it. I'll be honest, there were many opportunities during the course of my time on YouTube when I could have gotten advanced copies of games, where I could have taken a sponsorship deal here. I was actually, very early on, I was asked to do these huge level collaborations, and I was asked to sign on with multiple companies and get signing bonuses. And there was a lot of things that I decided I would never wanted to do because it would make me not genuine anymore, alright? And that's why I am where I am, honestly, because I could have done other things, and I'm happy being where I am at the level that I am, okay? So now you want to talk about, people who do things because they love it versus people who are in it for this, all right? Crisscross was two kids who were not musicians. They didn't play an instrument. They didn't write lyrics. They didn't even fucking sing. They said, someone wrote their shit, and they dressed up with clothes on backwards, and they danced around, and they were a gimmick. And people fell for the gimmick and bought their shit, which wasn't music, it was verbal shit. Diarrhea of the mouth was what it was. And they played it, and because they buy into whatever's fucking pushed down their throat by marketing, which is what it was, a big marketing ploy, all right? I am a big fan, and by the way, at the other side of it, all right? Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I am not someone who's so naive to know that there are people out there who love what they're doing, and there's people who are, like, super into it, and they suck too. All right? There's people who are so, oh, they're passionate, but they're not very good. They don't have talent. I understand that, too. And, you know, I'm not about little coffee house musicians who that's all I care about, a little coffee house indie person. I'm not one of these people who are a hipster, and I have to talk about the musician that no one's ever heard of either. But I'm kind of that combination of talent and also people who have the passion for what they're doing, and they stand behind it, right? How many musicians, they come out with one album, they become popular, now they have pressure to make 5 more albums, and the next 3 albums sound like shit and don't sound anything like the first album because they don't have that passion anymore. They're doing it for this, right? And that's kind of what it is. You look at this, people like these popular musicians, that's like pop music. 90% of it isn't even music. It's someone who's given the lyrics, right, told how to sing the song. They stand there in a studio like this, just like me, in front of a mic, just like this, with the same soundproofing foam, and they go, la, 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 la. And then all of a sudden, it goes into a fucking computer, it gets auto-tuned, it's got fucking fake synthesizer shit, and it boots, big beats, boom, boom, fake bass in the background, boom, boom. And then you listen to it, and the final song's la, 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 and it's got a catch, and it's catchy, and it's insanely fucking repetitive, but the common consumer is so fucking stupid, they think it's music. Oh, well, I can remember the lyrics because there's only 3 words in that song, and it's the same fucking beat for the whole song, and they play it on the radio a bunch, so it must be popular, so I'm gonna go buy it now. And then they do, and they make these fucking people bajillionaires, and it's not just the person, it's the fucking producer behind it in the studio, and, you know, I see people on TV, oh, big name producer. What the fuck is a producer? How about a musician who played the song, wrote the song? Oh, none of that exists. It's the producer and the lyricist, and all that shit comes together, and you think that it's music. It's not music. It's not. It's a manufactured pop product to be fed upon by the popular masses who don't fucking understand what real music is and don't care that there's no actual message. I'm gonna hate. I'm not really gonna hate. I'm gonna mention someone right now that I can't fucking imagine how this person ever sold a fucking record, but she was insanely popular in the United States and worldwide. Shakira, all right? She is the poster child, the poster example of someone who basically only was popular because it was completely manufactured, all right? Shakira was a good-looking Latina girl who was very popular outside of the United States for singing in Spanish, in you know, whatever her native language was. Great, because then maybe there's some meaning behind it. She comes to the United States, and she sings these songs in English. The fucking lyrics don't even make sense. Like, if you listen to the lyrics of her songs, she's barely speaking English. It's like broken English, and she's singing it, and it's complete and utter trash. It's like the worst fucking music you've ever heard in your life, if you listen to it. But that's the thing. They played it on the radio so much, and everyone just stared at the music video. Oh, she's hot. And she sold 5 zillion records, and it's the worst fucking level of music I've ever heard in my fucking life. It's utter shit. You could shit on a piece of paper, all right? And you could smear it around, and you could hand it to someone and say, sing this, and they could sing it, and it's better than anything that she ever put out in the United States, but it's crap. It's fucking crap. It was garbage, but only because it was pop music that was manufactured in a studio did it even sound good. Now, I'm not hating on Shakira as a musician outside of the United States, because I've actually heard that when she sings her native stuff, she's actually pretty good. But anything she put out in English is fucking shit. And shame on anyone who spent a fucking dollar on that, because it didn't even sound like English. It sounds like someone who doesn't even understand what they're singing, because she didn't, and it fucking sounds like shit. It's terrible crap. You know what I mean? So, ridiculous nonsense, and this is what the state of music is. So I see Criss Cross, 2 kids, know nothing about music, right? No actual meaning behind the fucking things that they're saying or doing. They didn't even write their own shit. Some guy handed them a piece of paper. Oh, come on, Chris, come on, Cross. Let's wear our fucking clothes backwards and dance around like 2 fucking assholes. And they were popular in the 90s. They were a fad. Once they stopped getting shoved down everyone's throats, everyone said, what the fuck did we watch this for? Just like everything. Vanilla Ice. Wow, that went far, didn't it? But at the time, oh my, MC Hammer. That was super popular at the time. Now it's like, why the fuck did anyone ever listen to this shit? And that's the problem. It becomes so popular. Everyone will hype, hype, hype. The mainstream idiots buy it. And then after a couple years, it dies out. And everyone's like, why the fuck did anyone ever like this? That's the problem I have with music of the 90s and 2000s. And even today, most of it is shit. Most of it has no actual meaning or anything behind it. It's just put a popular product out there for this. No actual meaning behind it, so who fucking cares? Shit. Okay. Next question is from the Big Gees, or the Big G's. I apologize because I don't know how to pronounce his name. Hi, Phil. I was wondering which of the Assassin's Creed franchise is your favorite version. The reason I ask is because I'm finishing a 6-month project to play all the games from the original up to Rogue, but I don't have a PS4 yet, so I can't play Unity. I personally found it a tough decision to pick one apart from 3, which I thought was pretty awful, and the original, which I felt was too limited to be a contender. I'll say this. I feel the original Assassin's Creed game obviously had something going for it, because look at what happened. The franchise exploded, right? So even though people criticized the shit out of the first game, obviously it was good enough, and they did enough right, that that series was going to become something better. Obviously, the original trilogy of the two, Assassin's Creed 2 with Ezio, any game with Ezio in it, he had amazing personality, so much so that they made 3 fucking games with him in it, right? He really was the reason that sold that trilogy. It wasn't necessarily gameplay or graphical improvements. It was Ezio. People had an attachment to Ezio. We wanted to know what happens to him, you know, the story of Ezio, okay? And then, fast forward past the shitty piece of shit that was Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag I really liked. Again, the major story, what was his name? Edward Kenway or whatever. He was a great character. He was different from Ezio, but he had some cool character flaws, but also some cool things about him that were funny. The fact that the supporting cast of that game was so good, all the pirates and stuff that did stuff with Ezio was really awesome. With Ezio, I said. With Edward was really awesome, and I liked that. And then, of course, you had variety and gameplay of the sailing and stuff. That was pretty good. Unity was just kind of shit. Like, the main character, you really get into him, and it was kind of like just doing it for the sake of playing it, and it was like, I don't know. So, for me, it would be like, I definitely liked the original trilogy, and I liked 4. I couldn't say overall what's the best one, because the thing is, you could say, oh, Assassin's Creed 2, oh, but by the way, the gameplay was really flawed, but Ezio was a great character. Oh, Assassin's Creed 4, because the gameplay was great, but Ezio was a better character. So, it's hard to put your finger on it, right? And say, this is the best one, but those are probably, I'd say the original trilogy, probably the first 2, by the way. That last one, Revelations, was kind of eh. And then I'd probably say 4 were my favorite ones. All right. Next question is from Zaf, and he says, hey, Phil, did you hear about the new YouTube gaming website that's launching soon? Apparently, they're going to be partnering with certain developers to have separate channels for different games. My question is, how will this, if at all, affect your playthroughs in the future? I wonder what this will mean for Let's Players like you. Do you think the industry is trying to push out independent Let's Players in order to corner the market when it comes to playthroughs? It actually seems the companies will now be able to dictate, like Nintendo, who'll be able to stream or post playthrough vids. So, if you don't know what Zaf is talking about, okay, Zaf is speaking about a new thing that YouTube, it's going to be YouTube Gaming. It's going to have its own separate website outside of mainstream YouTube, okay? I think what YouTube has realized is this. Number one, gameplay videos are huge. In fact, gameplay videos are probably 50% of fucking YouTube. And I hate to say it, they probably are. Like, they've overshadowed music videos. They've overshadowed everything else on there. Everyone wants to see gaming. Because gaming is the biggest thing in entertainment. It is the most profitable industry in the world right now. Okay? And YouTube, realizing this, looks at its number one competitor, which is Twitch TV. Wow, Twitch got all the streaming. We have a streaming capability, but we never really made it good enough to compete with Twitch. And now Twitch has all these people joining them exponentially every year to do streams. We need to do that too. So what they're doing is they're going to create a new thing. It's still YouTube. The same content you can find on this new website is still going to be available on YouTube as well. But it's basically separating out all the gameplay content. If you flag your video or tag your video as gaming, it's going to show up on this new site. And supposedly what they're doing, they're revamping the streaming process. They're supposed to make it so that now you can actually mod your streams, which never was able to really effectively be done. And you're supposed to have a better stream chat, and supposedly there's going to be improvements. They haven't really explained any of these improvements to anyone. So I don't know what's the benefit that they're making this new site to me. I have no fucking clue. You know what I mean? Besides the fact that gameplay is all going to be on one site kind of collectively versus if you just go to YouTube and look generally at all the stuff, it'll be easier to find gameplay stuff. But I'll be honest with everyone. I don't think this will benefit me in the least because, number one, I've been streaming on YouTube since day one anyway. That's a lie. I've been streaming on YouTube since last year anyway, what I wanted to say, November. And I have found all these things with YouTube, as you guys know now. I kind of streamlined my streaming. I can do 60 frames per second streaming on YouTube. I've already got a great stream chat. Right now, we've got 94 people in the stream chat, and you know, it's been fluctuating during the stream. So, you know, I've got the pieces in place to make it just as good as Twitch. So, really, for me, what's YouTube going to do to make that experience better? Integrate a chat on the site? Okay. So, maybe that'll be a plus, but it's not huge. You know what I mean? And I don't realistically see it. What are they going to do? Are they going to promote my content? Of course not. YouTube is going to promote the people who they always promote. PewDiePie and, you know, fucking Smosh Games. The people who they always fucking promote, who are always at the top of the ladder, are going to stay at the top of the ladder because YouTube makes the most revenue off those people, right? So no one like me, I'm the mid to lower guy. I'm not going to get any kind of a benefit off of this. If anything, right, it's going to be exactly how it is. You're going to try to search, right? You're going to try to search for something from mine, and you're going to get 5 million results that are all hater videos and stupid negative shit instead of my content. Even whether it's on regular YouTube now or it's on this new YouTube, because their search algorithm is a piece of shit that really shouldn't be used because they're fucking idiots who think that longer videos are automatically better, when in reality that's the complete fucking opposite, and they're just a bunch of fucking morons who work at Google who think they're smarter than everyone else. And it's completely fucked my business the past 3 years, but I digress. That has nothing to do with the question. I don't think this new thing will benefit me at all. I think that I'm going to be doing business as usual. You know what I mean? I don't really think that anything that they do, unless they change the search algorithms to go back to how they used to be, I don't think that anything that is going to benefit me, quite honestly. You know, I have my dedicated fan base. I have new viewers who come in and they know where to find me. They don't need to go to a separate website on YouTube to find gameplay stuff. You know, I think they're smart enough to find DSP Gaming on YouTube if they want to watch me play games. I think they're smart enough to find the King of Hate vlogs if they want to hear me do this kind of video. They don't need a separate fucking website to do it. Just saying. Okay. Next question is from Hot Sauce 123. And he says, I was wondering why when you do DSP Tries It recently, especially in the past year, it's always been fast food. When you lived on the East Coast, you used to do things like Axe shower gel. You used to do things like things outside of food items, like your RC car that you got for the Call of Duty Collector's Edition. Why don't you do that kind of stuff anymore? Well, Hot Sauce, I got two answers for you. Number one, I do actually do that. In fact, recently I did a couple. One of them was the Amazon Pantry Box, which I kind of did a review on. And I think there was one other one recently that I had done. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember there were two things that I had done that were not food. And guess what happened? Overwhelmingly, people said, why are you reviewing this? This isn't food. What is this? Why would you do this in DSP Tries It? I don't understand. So there's mass confusion. That's number one. Number two, since I moved to Washington State last year, 1 year ago, I am now surrounded by all kinds of fast food, right? I never used to have this stuff so close, but one street away from me, I've got Wendy's, I've got McDonald's, I've got Arby's, I've got Taco Bell, I've got one place that's called Skipper's that we never went to, but it's supposed to be a seafood place, and maybe that's a cool place to do a DSP Tries It soon, since we never tried it. Right down the street, there's a Pizza Hut, there's a KFC. If we drive like 2 miles one way, there's a Popeyes. And I believe if we go another way, there's a Burger King, which we haven't gone to yet, thank God. Jack in the Box, there's 2 Jack in the Boxes right here. And what's the other one? There is a Carl's Jr., but when we moved out here, we tried it, and it was fucking terrible. So we never did one on it, because it's actually a little bit out of our way. And I said I never want to do it again, because it's too far out of the way, and the food was shit. So the reason that we've done so many food-related DSP Tries It is quite simple, because we're surrounded by food. That's what's here. We're going to do what's here. If I were trying new products and new things for reviews, then I would do that. But I haven't tried any new products. In the past year, I haven't bought any kind of new controller, no new headset, no real new piece of equipment or anything outside of the stuff that I've been doing, right? I haven't bought really anything. The stuff in the house, do you really want me to review a fucking fan for the house that we bought to cool down? You know what I mean? So I'm trying to do stuff that would kind of, you know, be entertaining to people. And that's what it is. You know what I mean? So in that regards, I'm trying to do what's here and readily available, okay? Another thing that I want to make clear, I only eat fast food once a week, if that. So, if people are going nuts that say, oh, but Phil eats fast food all the time, what about his health and all that? Insanely out of place. Like, people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They think because you see me do one video a week of me eating some fast food, that's what I eat every day. Today we're having some nice homemade pasta, my pasta sauce with pasta and some bread. Yesterday we had, what did we have? We had pork loin, a nice pork loin that was cooked with some mixed veggies and a biscuit. Or another day this week we had a healthier pasta. It was like linguine with chicken. You know, we have healthy stuff. It's just that the one day that I record, right, is the fast food day, and people assume that that's all I eat. They're completely, I mean, seriously, do you really think that the only things you see in videos is all I do? No, there's other stuff I do off camera. People are just out of their minds. But anyway, I digress. Next question. All right, this is a long one, okay? And I'm going to try to narrow it down. But I'm going to try to read through it quickly. It's from Silent Warrior 25. It's about Nintendo, which always causes controversy. I'm actually a little hot. I'll take the hat off for this one. I'll put it back after I answer this question, okay? So let me get through Silent Warrior's question, then I'll answer it. So he says, hey, Phil, I just watched your Nintendo E3 recap video, and what I want to say is that none of what you... it's not your fault because of your schedule, but you've been pretty uninformed about Nintendo recently. A lot of things that they showed on that digital event during E3, they discussed in previous Nintendo Directs. For a couple examples, they showed Xenoblade several times already, explaining more about the game each time. The game's been out in Japan for a couple of months, just so you're aware. Also, Fire Emblem Fates. That game was shown off at the beginning of the year in Nintendo Direct, and it brought a lot of hype that day because people didn't know about it. To be honest, the only real new thing about Fire Emblem that they announced at E3 was they showed the English title screen and dialogue, and the game's coming out in a couple weeks in Japan anyway, so it'll be out there before here. None of those might not be the best examples, but there's a lot more than that. What I'm trying to say is, without watching Nintendo Directs, you really miss out on a lot of announcements, like Shin Megami Tensei, Crossfire Emblem, which showed more gameplay than the digital event even did at E3. So I actually highly recommend you start watching Nintendo Directs, as they produce more hype and general excitement than the digital event did at E3. It's something to consider, but I think you could benefit greatly in the long run if you watch them. Also, could you possibly watch future Nintendo Directs and give your reactions to them similar like you did to the Nintendo digital event at E3? Okay. Alright. So, ladies and gentlemen, hold on one second. One quick second before I answer this question. There we go. Okay. So, fair enough, everyone, fair enough that people are saying, Phil, you know, you did this reaction to Nintendo Direct, that was the digital event at E3, and you said, oh, you know, you would have liked to have seen more gameplay or more elaboration on a lot of the games that were there, and it was more like, here's a game, here's a game, here's a game, here's a game, and they didn't give a lot of elaboration. If you would watch the other Nintendo Directs, you would have had the elaboration on those events, right? And maybe you wouldn't have been as critical of Nintendo. Maybe you should watch them. Okay. No. And here's why I say that. Did you notice, anyone notice, that in the entire world of gaming, right? Sony, Microsoft, EA, Ubisoft, Square Enix, I'm trying to think, Bethesda, you know, we're talking the big name guys. Did you ever notice, out of all the big name companies that make video games, there's only one that seems to think they're so important that they need to give you a monthly Nintendo Direct broadcast? You notice no one else does it? Isn't it funny that when you actually watch Nintendo Direct, a lot of the times there's not a lot of info in it, and maybe a little snippet here or there, almost to the point where you say, I wonder why they even do this every month. Okay, the bottom line is this, ladies and gentlemen. The bottom line is this, okay? Nintendo doesn't need to have a Nintendo Direct every month. What Nintendo needs to do is actually advertise their games properly, actually do things like every other company does, but they don't. They think that they're better, they think that they're different, they think they're innovative, right? Oh, yeah, they're great, you know what I mean? And guess what? They don't need it. They don't freaking need it. They don't. They absolutely don't. Nintendo does not have enough to talk about on a monthly basis to need a Nintendo Direct. Silent Warrior is saying, if I had watched the Nintendo E3 presentation, but I had watched all the other Nintendo Directs, I wouldn't have criticized it as much. But that's my point. My point is this. E3 is the yearly time for these game companies, these game developers, these game publishers to show their stuff to the world. Everyone who doesn't have time to watch monthly Nintendo Directs will be watching E3 and say, this is the Super Bowl of gaming. This is the chance for Nintendo to show their big stuff. And they didn't do it. Instead, they said, here's a quick trailer, here's a quick trailer, here's a quick trailer, here's a quick trailer, here's a quick trailer. Here's a 25-minute segment about Miyamoto. Here's a quick trailer, here's a quick trailer, here's a quick trailer, here's a quick trailer. Amiibos, 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 amiibos. Quick trailer, quick trailer, quick trailer, quick trailer. It's over. Sorry, Nintendo. Apparently you don't understand what the fuck E3 is. E3 is not the time for you to kiss the ass of your fanboys. E3 is the time for you to explain to the masses why they need a Wii U, why they need a Nintendo 3DS, why they should continue to buy your products, why they should even care. And that's not what Nintendo did. Nintendo showed a few things and a bunch of quick trailers that were so fucking fast you didn't even know what happened. I didn't even know there were 2 trailers. I didn't even know what the games were. I was like, what the fuck is this? So it's like, if I had watched every other fucking broadcast of Nintendo, I would have known what the game was. Then Nintendo missed the point. And that was the point I was making during my E3 criticism. Nintendo thinks they know better than everyone else, and they don't. They're now, in 2015, missing the mark consistently. They're consistently not doing the things they need to do to appeal to mainstream gamers anymore. That's why when you ask the mainstream gamer, what's the biggest thing in gaming today? Do they say Mario? No, they say Minecraft. They say Skylanders, right? They say the little shit that really is just cheap gimmicks and stuff. That's what's popular. And Nintendo is like way, way down there. Yeah, they're still known as a company that you would buy this game system for your kids. And that's really what mainstream gamers think at this point. And that's the problem with Nintendo. Why the fuck can't you make an E3 presentation that appeals to the masses, that explains your big games? No, we gotta hear about how Miyamoto got inspired to make StarCraft by sitting at a shrine that's down the street. I don't fucking care. Show me the games. And that was the criticism I made. So I fully understand what Silent Warrior is saying, because you could tell Silent Warrior likes Nintendo. He's a fan. He's watching the Nintendo Directs. But Phil, if you'd watched the other Nintendo Directs, you would have been more informed. But why did I need to? That was the point of E3, was Nintendo's a chance to appeal to the mainstream, and they failed. That's the point I was trying to make in my criticism, okay? All right, now I can put my hat back on. Whew, getting hot in here. I gotta turn on the air conditioner again in a minute. All right, next question is from I Cured It With My Brain, and he says, hey, Phil, in light of recent events and the controversy surrounding the Confederate flag that has been removed, I screwed this up. I read it completely wrong. Let me restart over. In light of recent events and the controversy around the Confederate flag that Apple has removed all Civil War games from the App Store because of the Confederate flag being in them. My question is, did Apple do the right thing, or is it an overreaction by Apple done in an effort to be politically correct? If you don't know the background of this question, you'll have no idea what we're talking about, so I have to give you some background. In the United States of America, there was a Civil War. It was the North or the Yankees versus the South or the Confederacy. Or I take it back, also they were called the Union. The North was the Union, the South was the Confederacy. 2 factions warring against each other, and it was for many different reasons. It was political reasons, economic reasons, just disagreements in philosophy, tons of reasons why the Civil War happened, all right? The Civil War ended a fucking long-ass time ago, okay? It's been over for quite some time. The North won, the South lost, and since then, things have calmed down significantly. And all these things, progressive changes have been made. Slavery's been abolished, right? And, you know, voting, everyone has the right to vote now. And we have all these different things that we didn't have during the era of the Civil War. Okay. Fine, right? Here's what happened recently. In the South, we had a shooting. It was a kid who obviously was out of his fucking mind. He went into a local church, which unfortunately, you know, has innocent people inside. This kid is completely batshit insane, opens fire, kills a bunch of people. The people happen to be, you know, African Americans. It was an African American church. That was kind of the community that the church was located in. And the kid was like, oh, the Confederacy, anti-black people, and he's crazy. He's out of his fucking mind, right? He's just zany, loony. So, because this happens, all of a sudden, people seem to realize, oh shit, this kid was like saying Confederate, he's all Confederate, right? The Confederate flag is everywhere. in the South. Like, it's everywhere. I'm not kidding. It's hanging off people's buildings, off people's homes. It's hanging off of businesses. It's hanging off of state capitals. It's hanging off of everywhere. Now, it's probably there for various different reasons. Some people probably feel that that's part of their heritage. We're part of the Confederacy once. And yeah, now, maybe in modern days, we realize that things the Confederacy stood for, like slavery, right, are not very modern. And now we recognize collectively as a culture that they're morally wrong. But these flags were hung throughout these places as a remembrance, a cultural significance of the past. Now, some people leave it at that, and some people go crazy. Oh, the Confederacy's still good, and the South lost, but we'll get our revenge on the North one day. The sad fact is there's always going to be crazy-ass people like that, and there are people in the southern United States that are like that. They don't even want to admit that, like, they lost the Civil War. Everything the North does is all liberal and evil. We're very conservative down here, and, you know, how dare they tell us what we can do and can't do, and blah, blah, blah. There's still people like that. The Civil War was over 100 fucking years ago, and they're still talking about this shit like it happened yesterday, okay? So, the fact is that these flags were being hung all throughout the South, and this kid finally goes off the handle, kills a bunch of people in the name of the Confederacy because he's a fucking idiot, out of his mind. All this happens, and now, all of a sudden, people start to realize that that Confederate flag, oh, that's a negative association. That's something that, why are we still have these hanging around? That was before the Civil War. That was a backwards way of thinking. And so now all of a sudden they're making these big things. The state capitol has a big event where they take down the Confederate flag from the state capitol. And they say this is outdated. And, you know, that should have been done. And when the Civil War ended, that shit should have come down. Because now it's like, it doesn't mean shit. Now it's just fucking part of our history, right? You know, there's always going to be crazies who believe in this shit. You know what I mean? Those flags don't have cultural significance anymore. We are in a modern America where all that shit from the Confederacy is gone, all right? But now is the time because this kid murders a bunch of people. Now we got to take the flags down. Makes no sense. It's stupid. It's publicity stunts. It's just, oh, it's a chance for us to feel good about ourselves as Americans when really it doesn't mean anything. It's just to try to be popular and feel good. Oh, it's fine that we have kids who are going on mass fucking rampages and killing people in America because we took the Confederate flags down. I don't understand it, all right? I don't understand it. But now the question here is about Apple. Apple apparently went out of their way to say, we're going to just remove all of the fucking Confederate flags off of Apple, period. So, if this is true, keep in mind, this is based off of I cured it with my brains question. I don't know if this actually happened or not, okay? But, apparently Apple went in there and said, oh, there's all these games about the Civil War, and they have the Confederate flag. Take them all down. No one can buy them anymore. What? Now, wait a minute. Now, I can see, does the Confederate flag need to be hung anywhere in America right now? No, it doesn't. It doesn't because it's old. It's outdated. Over 100 years ago, we had a war. The Confederacy lost. They don't exist anymore. The flag doesn't have any kind of significance in that regard, and it doesn't need to be flown anywhere, all right? But now, are we going a crazy overboard here? Like, it's part of history. The flag existed, right? So you can't say there's a game that's North versus South. Oh, ban the game because it has a Confederate flag. But the South existed. Should we go a step further? Hold on. Let's go ahead and take every fucking college textbook, right? And every history book that has a Confederate flag in it, ban them. Because we don't need people to know about that shit, right? Because it's evil, so don't talk. You know what? Let's go a step further. The Nazis, they were evil, right? In Germany, they killed all those Jews. Millions of Jews died. We don't have to talk about that. You know what? Slavery was bad. Don't ever talk about that anymore. Ban all that. So just ban everything. Let's burn every book. Let's go on the internet and Wikipedia, delete all the fucking articles. Let's just blacklist it all because it's bad. Like, what the fuck? How stupid is this? Seriously, like, how dumb is this fucking thing? Seriously. How dumb can this whole thing be? It's stupidity at its greatest level is, okay, the crazy fucking kid killed people. That's wrong. He had these crazy Confederate ideals that are over 100 years outdated. That's wrong. The state capitol is flying the Confederate flag. It's part of our history, but not really anymore. It's outdated. Take that down because it's wrong. Okay, let's ban all video games about the Civil War. What? Let's remove everything about the Confederate flag ever. What? But then we don't remember. If you don't let history stand and you don't tell people and educate people about history, then we're doomed to repeat the same mistakes. If you can't learn from the past, you'll never improve and become better, right? So if you deny the fact that the Civil War ever happened, how the fuck would you ever learn from it? And that's how stupid... What the fuck was Apple's reason? We're going to remove Civil War games because they have Confederate flags in them. What? Like, what? Like, is anyone with a logical brain would say that is fucking stupid. But obviously, people at Apple aren't that fucking smart, right? Like, how stupid is that? And I would be pissed if I had designed Civil War games and done all this stuff and all of a sudden my shit's blocked. It's fucking historical. It happened, dingus. You can't block history unless you're a moron. So whoever made that decision at Apple is a fucking moron. Okay. I will answer one more question, then I will take a break, and then we'll finish it up with our final part of Ask the King. The next question is from Quiet Noise. And he says, hey Phil, after being a fan since Little Big Planet 2 and your playthrough of it, I have a question to ask you. You say that you're the king of hate because you take that hate that's meant to bring you down from pricks and other people who really just want to be negative and slander your name. Alright? And you turn it into fuel to keep your fire burning. That the reason that you keep doing what you do, and one of the reasons that I really respect you, right, is because of that. Because you can take that negativity and turn it into motivation to be successful. He says, but... don't you think that the moniker, the King of Hate, that everyone knows you by, is a little bit suspect to people who've never heard you or what your content is about? I don't know if you've ever gotten a question like this before. I know that you've brought up your moniker countless times before. It usually is related to people who think they know who you are already, and because they're determined to be dicks to you. But I'd be interested in what you have to say, okay? Alright, that is a legit question. So let's very quickly recap. I am known as the King of Hate, alright? This nickname of mine came about over 10 years ago when I was in the Street Fighter community, when I, out of nowhere, kind of just started doing really well. I placed really well at Evolution one year, and people just wanted to say, Phil sucks, he's a piece of shit, he's not good, he was a fluke, there's no way that anyone could give him credit for being good at these games, because it was a crappy port of a game that he played, he didn't deserve his victory, okay? The next year, I came back in 2006. I won Evo East, okay? I did really well in all these qualifiers. I didn't do so well at the top-level nationals, but I won all these tournaments. In 2007, I came back playing another version of the game, different version, by the way. I won Evo East. I did pretty decently at everywhere that year. I actually went to different qualifiers and placed in the qualifiers, including the West Coast that always claimed that I was terrible. I flew to fucking California and placed top 8 in their tournament too. So it's like all these things. I took that motivation of people saying, you suck, you're no good, you're a fluke, and I balled it up, and instead of fucking flipping out or whatever, I balled it up, I put it inside, made it motivating for myself, and I ended up being successful as Street Fighter because of it. Fast forward to YouTube, right? I started out on YouTube, I was Joe Nobody, right? And people, all of a sudden, I got this fame, then all of a sudden, with fame comes the negativity. You suck, you don't edit your videos, you don't do this like Joe, you know, this YouTuber, you don't do this like that YouTuber, I don't understand how you could be popular, you suck, and I take all that negativity, and I use it to fuel myself. I am the king of my own hatred against me. I own that hatred, and I make it motivating so that I could be successful. And every day that I'm able to do a live stream like I'm doing right now, and every day that I'm able to upload a new video to YouTube, and I got people who care about what I have to say, and I got people who love to watch me play games, it's a big fuck you to all those people who are only out there to say that I suck and I can't do it and I can't be successful, alright? That's what the King of Hate moniker means. Admittedly, at first, the King of Hate, that sounds like a guy who just loves to hate on things, and maybe he's a really negative person, maybe he's a racist, maybe he's this, he's that. Right, okay, fair enough, right? But the thing is, we can't really choose how you're going to be labeled in life, right? I actually didn't create the King of Hate moniker. It was given to me a long time ago by people who kind of saw what was going on with me and said, wow, you actually own that. That was given to me through actions, right? I earned that title. It wasn't something that I made up overnight one day and started using as a witty catchphrase like a lot of these YouTubers use. No, it was actually given to me from life experience. So it's associated with me, and it doesn't matter what I'm known by outside of that. People are always going to have that associated with me. If right now I said, I'm going to change the name of my website you know, and I'm going to change this, and I'm never going to have anything with the King of Hate. It wouldn't matter, because people already, it's already associated with me. I can understand, okay? I could certainly understand that hearing that name for the first time, you could say, this guy sounds like an asshole, this guy sounds negative. But all you need to do is watch some of my gameplay, watch a vlog like this, and you're going to understand who I am as a person. You're going to see my personality. It's going to come through, and you're going to see that it's not a negative thing at all, that it's actually a very positive thing. The problem, unfortunately, with YouTube and with the world in general is that people don't go that extra step. Wow, the King of Hate. Let me go watch one of his videos. No, the King of Hate sounds like an asshole. Fuck that piece of shit. He must be a racist prick. Fuck him, and now I'm going to tell everyone that he's a piece of shit. And that's the mentality that you get. So you get these assholes who make crazy, negative, slanderous montages and all kinds of shit, and it becomes viral because, oh, because he's the King of Hate. There are top YouTubers who think that all I do is play a game and insult the game developer while I play it, and that's my gimmick. That's my claim to fame. They're that stupid because they're that fucking ignorant that they don't take 2 seconds more to actually research for themselves and use an iota of their fucking IQ, their brain, which they should fucking use. Instead of doing that, they think it just means the King of Hate means that he's a hateful person, so I don't like him. And these people actually do, on Twitter, they shit on me. You know, it's ridiculous because they're such fucking stupid idiots. And these people have massive followings on the internet. That's the sad part. They have this cloud of people who blindly follow them and everything that they fucking say because they don't know me. And then they talk shit about me because they don't fucking know me. And that's sad. But the bottom line is, if people had a brain in their fucking head, you don't just, oh, if I pick up, you know, this controller and it's Honeywell, it says Honeywell. And if someone in the stream chat says, oh, Honeywell, they suck. Does everyone in the stream chat immediately say, oh, well, that must mean that they suck? No, people say, well, Honeywell, let me do some research, and they'll do their own research. Oh, well, it seems like Honeywell, they're good for these products and not for these products. But that's the problem. People don't do due diligence. They just go with this mob. I'm a sheep. I'm a sheep. I believe what everyone says. If people say that the King of Hate means that Phil is negative, then that means that he's negative. And fuck any kind of logic or reason or 40,000 fucking videos that he's uploaded to the contrary. We're just going to believe it because we're dumb. And that's the bottom line. It's really silly. I get so much negative shit against me, and it's hilarious. The other day, I gotta tell you, I share this one with you. This is hilarious. The other day, I got a tweet when I announced that there's going to be a marathon this week. I'm going to be playing Crash Bandicoot. And immediately, you get the positive, wow, that's great. And other people, oh no, I love Crash, and Phil will play it and complain about the game and ruin the game. Like, me complaining about a game ruins it. You gotta be a fucking mental midget to think that that's the case. But people are that dumb. I don't know what else to say. People are that dumb on this planet. I got a tweet from someone. Literally, I never heard from this person before. Oh no, please don't play Crash Bandicoot. You will ruin my childhood. Okay. So, this person obviously knows nothing about me or whatever. I go to their Twitter page, 13 years old. Crash Bandicoot is 19 years old. So apparently this person played the game when they were -6, and I ruined the game because I played it. You know what I mean? But again, negative association, negative name. This person, I forgot their name now, Quiet Noise, has a valid point that because my name kind of sounds negative, everyone says hate is negative, right? Everyone thinks that hate is a negative thing no matter what people say. Oh, Phil, the King of Hate, he's got to be a negative asshole. Not the case. He's right. There's a negative association. But the thing is, I've been on the internet now for over a decade, you know, for Street Fighter the first half, and now for YouTube the second half. There's no way I could ever disassociate myself, you know what I mean, from that. There's no way. There's no way I could disassociate myself from that moniker, even if I tried. So I'm just going to roll with it. And if there are intelligent people who do their due diligence, it's so funny how so many people have said, I heard nothing but negative things about Phil, then I went and checked out his videos and they were good, so now I'm a fan of his. If you do your due diligence, you'll probably learn a lot more in life. But that's the problem. People are such sheep. They just want to have this crowd mentality. Look at me. I'm guilty of it. I thought Minecraft sucked. And then when I finally played it, I said, I can understand why this game actually is good. So even I'm guilty of it to some extent. But if you're an intelligent human, you'll at least finally give it the time of day and understand things for yourself rather than just believe what some idiot tells you. And so hopefully I would give the benefit of the doubt to the people who watch my content that they're intelligent enough to know what the King of Hate means and not just assume that I'm some kind of a hateful asshole. All right. Let's end this part. I'll take a break. I need to rest my throat. I'll be back in about 5 minutes with the conclusion here on stream. If you're watching this on YouTube, it will be part 3, a separate video. So thanks for watching, and I'll be right back with the conclusion of Ask the King. Thanks for watching. See you in a moment.